Hi viewers, welcome back to another very interesting episode of Carnatic Music. Everybody is invited, Season 2. In this episode, I am going to start a very interesting concept, the Pancharatna kritis. Remember, in the previous season when we were talking of kritis, I discussed so many formats of kritis and we defined Pancharatna kritis as K7. And I said that I would like to take it up in detail because iconic songs, so we should really give the time that it deserves and go into it in depth. So which is exactly what I plan to do now. So I said Pancharatna kritis is in the format K7. When I was talking about K1 to K9, K7 was fine. But now when we are in K7, if I still hold the nomenclature K7, then it will mean that all the kritis are uniform, but they are not. So what should we do? Let's break it down further. So what am I going to do? I am actually searching for the right slate. You see I have so many slates lined up. But yes, I am actually trying to get the right slate. Just give me a minute. So here we are. This is the right slate. Now just take a look. I have said K7. But then I have said K7A. And here it goes K7B. And then K7C. So what should that mean? We have 5 songs and the 5 songs come in 3 different formats. So take a look once again. K7A. What is K7A? Nata. That is the opening Pancharatna kriti. The first kriti comes in the format K7A. And K7B, you see, that's a very interesting format because we have 3 kritis in that format. Gaula, Varali and Shri. And then K7C is Arabi. But please remember, Arabi is the kriti number 3. Nata is kriti number 1. Gaula is kriti number 2. Arabi is kriti number 3. Varali is kriti number 4. And Shri is kriti number 5. But if you look at the formats, Nata is in one format. Gaula, Varali and Sri Ragam, these 3 are in one format while Arabi is in the third format. So I am perfectly happy to name them as K7A. K stands for Kriti, I am sure you remember, or Kriti formats remember. So K7B and K7C. So now the question is, what is the difference in these formats? For that I need the other slate. Now look at K7A. It has Pallavi, Anupallavi and Swara Sahityam. Now before I go further, I think I should explain the concept of Swara Sahityam. There are 2 things which I feel bind the 5 Pancharatna kritis as a group. Apart from the fact that they are a group, I am saying from a listener's perspective or an artist's perspective, if you look, what is the one fact that you notice, when you look at them as a collective? The first thing is the length. All the kritis are quite long. That is the first thing. And the second thing is the Swara Sahityam. Now what is Swara Sahityam? A Swara is sung and then the lyrics are sung. See, it is true that every lyric that is sung, every line of a kriti that we sing is notated. The notations are there, but we don't sing the notations. See, when we are singing a kriti, we just sing the Pallavi, we sing the Anupallavi, then we sing the Charanam. Isn't that the way every kriti is presented? So we don't actually sing the Swaram and then sing the Sahityam. Sahityam stands for lyrics. I have already explained that word in the earlier season. But the speciality of a Swara Sahityam is the Swaras are sung and immediately after that the corresponding lyrics are sung. So that makes it very exciting to hear because one line Swaram, one line Sahityam, one line Swaram, one line Sahityam. As you listen to the kriti, it's like one energetic exercise. So that is the Swara Sahityams, I would say, they are the soul of the Pancharatna kritis because that is such a distinguishing factor and that is what I would say it's the most catchy part of the Pancharatna kritis. So if you see in the Nate kriti, we will see the Pallavi, then there will be the Anupallavi and then we will have multiple Swara Sahityams and then the kriti comes to a close. What about the other formats? Now, if you see the format K7B, in K7B, there is an additional feature. The concluding, there is a feature called the Charanam. So, what happens is, there is a Pallavi, there is an Anupallavi, there are multiple Swara Sahityams. At the end of it, one more line is sung. For that line, the Swaras are not sung. Okay, so now you can make out clearly. So if you see in Nate, the concluding verse will be the Swara Sahityam, then we will go to the Pallavi and then we will finish it off. But in these three, if you see, the Pallavi is there, the Anupallavi is there, and then multiple Swara Sahityams are sung. At the end, there is another, segment, a small segment, 2 lines, which we call as Charanam. After the Charanam, the Pallavi is sung, and then the song comes to a close. So this is about the other 3. Now there is one more format. What is our one more format? Our other format is K7C. And K7C, it is the Arabi Kriti, and the Arabi Kriti, if you see very interestingly, is not a Kriti. What an anticlimax, right? The Arabi Kriti is actually set in the format of a Tana Varnam. I have explained the concept of Varnam very clearly in the first season. Even in the second season, while talking of Ragamalika Varnams, Balaji Vachi, where again I refresh the format of a Varnam. So I am sure all of you know the format of a Varnam very well. The beauty of Sadinchane, the Arabi Pancharatna Kriti, is that it is actually set in the format of a Varnam. So what happens in a Varnam? We know that there is a Pallavi and there is an Anupallavi. After that, there is a Charanam. And then we have the Swara Sahityams, and at the end of the Swara Sahityams, there is another segment which is actually somewhat like the Charanams that you see in the Kritis, no difference. But because it is in the format of a Varnam, this format is called Anubandham. So that is generally not seen in many Varnams now, but in this particular Sadinchane, we see this segment. So what happens, what is the crux of this change? Actually, I am going to be singing this Kriti for you. I will take it up at that time. In this episode, I would be happy if you can just focus on the different formats. So, let us see the opening lines of the Pancharatna Kritis. How does the Nata Pancharatna Kriti go? Jagadaya Nandaka Araka. That is the Nata. Then what is the second one? Gaula. Doddu Gugala Nalne Dora. Doddu Gugala Nalne Dora. That is the second one in Gaula. The third one in Arabi. Sadil Chene O Manasa Sadil Chene O Manasa. This is the third one in Arabi. The fourth one in Varali. Kana kana ruchera Kanakavasana nilnu Kanakana ruchera Kanakavasana nilnu. The fifth and the concluding one is in Sri Ragam. Endaro mahanubhavulu Endaro mahanubhavulu. So, now why is it so important to go so much in detail about the Pancharatna Kritis? You might be wondering, because I am going to dedicate the following 2-3 episodes to Pancharatnams, for the simple reason that they have kind of become like the signature pieces of Carnatic music. If you see, the Tyagaraja Aradhana festival is taking place with such vigor in so many parts of the world, and Tyagaraja, original Tyagaraja Aradhana is still continuing for I think it is 175 years, if I am right. So it has been going on for so long. It is such a beautiful tradition, and so many musicians gather there, upcoming musicians, senior musicians. So it is like a dedication to Tyagaraja, who is like a very great composer. So now what has happened is, these kritis people have heard and reheard them so many times. So you could also say that by understanding the format of these kritis, what goes into these kritis, you will have a much more enhanced listening experience when you are hearing it next. Because it is quite common to hear a Pancharatna kriti, but very often we don't know what it contains. So by breaking down a kriti into these formats, then next time you hear, you will be able to appreciate it even better. So that is why I have taken it up as a major area of discussion. This set of Pancharatna kritis, it is also called the Ghanaraga Pancharatna, because these 5 ragas, if you see, Nata, Gaula, Arabi, Varali and Shri, these 5 ragas are also called by the name Ghanaragas. A very interesting thing that I want to share here. You remember the 10 ragas, Raga Malika, Dasharaga Malika, Madhavo Mampadu on Dashavatara, which I sang in the opening episode of this season. If you see the first 5 ragas in that Raga Malika are also these 5 ragas. So I guess, these 5 ragas have had a very strong presence even as a collective. Only thing, there is a slight difference in the order. If you see in Madhavo Mampatu, it opens with Nata, and then it is Gaula, then it is Shri, then it is Arabi, and the 5th raga is Varali for Vamana. And then of course other ragas follow. But I am just saying, it was just an observation that came to my mind. So, when these concepts, we see them here, there and all, it is such a beautiful thing to observe. Tyagaraja has also composed some other Pancharatna kritis, Kovur Pancharatnam, then there is a Lalgudi Pancharatnam. So those other Pancharatnams are also very beautiful kritis, and in fact in the Sahana episode, the kriti E Vasudha, which I sang, is one kriti from the Kovur Pancharatnam series. But this set of Pancharatna kritis, which are called the Ghanaraga Pancharatna, are the most famous and totally amazing compositions created by the composer. So in the episodes that follow, let's go into it in greater detail. You are watching Carnatic Music, everybody is invited, season 2.